A message from Dr. Yaounde on Pretalks within Yaounde. Fellow Ambazonians. First let me offer my condolences to the family, friends and comrades of our bravest foot soldier, Yaounde, who passed away in South Africa a few days ago. He was a ring braveheart who guaranteed our security each time we were in South Africa. Rest in peace, sir. I have avoided making any public statement on this topic since we issued our declaration. In that declaration we stated our opposition to any direct talks in Cameroun with the butchers of our people. The atmosphere of our liberation war can become very toxic, and we must do everything to avoid publicly inciting or promoting discord. And because the AGovC is in collaboration with IG Care as a matter of principle, all differences must be resolved by leadership in the background. Since we were all informed about contacts between Sasiko Ayuk and officials of Cameroun, there has been many developments in the public space. We have observed a series of well-planned endorsements of the talks. These endorsements seems like the kinds of cheap political campaigns we observed before and after the Zaria Mafia. We cannot lecture the leader of another movement who they should talk to. We can only offer our position and advice based on our understanding of the implications of such approaches to our liberation strategies. The AGovC has never made any monumental move that might commit the state without prior consultations. Before we went to the Basque, we informed IG Care and asked them to send a delegation. Before we went to the UMPO summit, we did the same because these missions are no longer simply an AGovC matter but have implications on the state. The AGovC has the powers to call for a lockdown alone, but we have never done so. I have always consulted the other two leaders, taken permission from our defense leaders before ever making a public statement. This is not weakness but strength that produces desired outcomes. We make more investment in the defense of our homeland, pay a higher price in blood and treasure to give all of us the backings we need to have teeth in diplomacy. Yet unilateralism is not a key approach of our diplomacy and defense strategy. It will be dangerous if other leaders bypass the traditional avenues of consultations and use mushroom groups, individuals and even prisoners to drum support of activities that has implications on other movements. For 4 years, this approach has failed. Skakoof here, Skakoof there, country heads there and here never gave us the collaboration we needed. Those who matter are the leaders. If you want a ceasefire, you get support from generals, not prisoners, bloggers or any extant group out here. If you want to succeed in leadership, study the art of the deal and recognize other leaders, however small, big or weak. The leadership of IG Care must know those who matter to them. All those endorsing you today will abandon you tomorrow. They endorsed you as our one and only president and abandoned you for a petty criminal, endorsed a fake government and abandoned it before the sun rose. The people who have never abandoned you and will never abandon you are the Ambazonia Defense Forces and its sister forces. They have always fought and died to make sure we are all free. They have never switched sides when things are hard. Political opportunism has no place in a revolution. Political endorsements are a political campaign tool, not a liberation strategy. The AGovC will never endorse any talks in Cameroun. We will never endorse or take part in any direct talks with the butchers out of Cameroun that is not mediated in a proper way. As concerns the release of our prisoners of war, we have called for the kidnappers to let the captives go. Our resistance on the ground shortens their days in jail. If Cameroun asks for a 2-day ceasefire in exchange for the release of all prisoners, L will offer 3 days. But as far as a blanket ceasefire because of COVID-19 is concerned, our declaration has committed the AGovC to that pending negotiations that will include generals, the United Nations and Cameroun on monitoring, scope and a sanction regime for violations, and this must be tied to a promise for further talks on substantive issues. As the regime crumbles, we must not confuse our people. We must stick to what has worked. We must arm our forces. We must be defiant, prudent and wise. Cameroun has blinked. Remember that when the enemy camps, we harass, when they tire, we attack, when the enemy retreats, we pursue. That is how we defeat a stubborn and arrogant occupier. Signed today, Monday, July 13, 2020. Dr. Yaounde, President, Ambazonia Governing Council.